Did you catch any of that?
We'll make something up.
Hey, we're here back at Vescio's. Bo's been working on the car pretty steadily, him and the guys. So I'm just going to let Bo kind of tell you what they've been doing and how it's been going.
Yeah, we've been just flying along on this bodywork. So last time you saw, we had that whole driver's side was pretty much finished up, getting ready for primer. One of my guys, Gary, knocked this out in the last few days. He's got some finishing things to do, and now we've taken it off the rack. All 8 million pounds of this thing's heavy. So we using a couple of our lifts and things, we've laid it way down on the floor, so now we can get to this roof. So now we have to smooth out that whole section there, which will take a little bit, and then we're looking pretty good. We're going to get some primer on here, then we'll go back, block it all out again, probably do that a couple of times, and then we're going to be getting close. Actually, Greg was here earlier, and John Kozmowski, who's been hanging out, we've been helping him do one of his projects, is going to maybe develop a cool color for us. It'd be neat if he's around and wants to put in the, he's got the time, make a little color, and he got a one-off color from Kozmowski. That's kind of neat.
I think it's really cool. Not everybody has that opportunity.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, nobody builds a car like this by themselves. It takes a lot of other people, a lot of talent. And there are people that say, I did it all myself, and it's most of the time it's all false.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of talent and a lot of minds to come together to make something like this work.
Building a car and then just driving around by yourself in the lonesome isn't any fun, but that's what the whole hobby's about anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We'll get the next major piece up on the roof, then some fine tuning, priming. You're still working on the front clip.
Yeah, I'm going to have that for you next week.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, we're gonna be cooking along in the next couple weeks. This will be hopefully all in one color primer and block, and it just gets closer and closer each time you do it to being ready to go.
This piece alone was probably in like 8 different pieces.
Yeah.
So we got to weld all those joints, and you can't always get to the back of them to like hammer and dolly and metal work them. So now Bo's got to do his magic and make it right.
Yeah, and they fit good. It looks like one piece now, but like you say, laid out, that's a lot. And then it just takes a little bit of sculpting, a little bit of shape, and everybody does it. Every good car has all that work done to it. So.
Right on, dude. Well, I think it looks good, and I'm excited that you're working on the roof.
We'll be excited when we're finished working on the roof. We're going to develop a color for the whole car, and what we'll do is we'll do the interior and the engine bay underneath, all that stuff in the satin form of that color. So it'll look like 2 colors, but one, it makes it nice and clean and crisp when you're doing all these difficult spaces in here. Painting tubes like this, all this tubing it's a lot of work. It's kind of a pain, but if we do it correctly, it'll all look nice and crisp and clean, and then you switch out, and then the outside is nice and can you hear that buzzing? I just had to turn it off. My headphones are buzzing, but it's right next to that thing, so you're going to hear some buzzing. Let me get back into it. So what we're going to do, we'll get a handful of guys, and we'll get in here, and we've got to sand and scrub this whole thing. So we'll take some Scotch-Brite pads and wax and grease and different thinners, and we scrub this whole thing down, get it all prepped up. I mean, it's really beautiful. None of that needs any filler. They can't do it anyway because it's a race car. But the work that Greg and the guys did is just super crisp and nice. So it's actually, seeing all these welds and stuff, even in the paint, is going to be pretty cool. So once we get all this in the primer, and that's ready for paint, then we'll get back, we'll scrub all this up, we'll have it back on the rack, we'll get a couple guys in here, climbing in and out, a couple of holes, a tranny hole in the back, spraying all that stuff. Then we'll mask everything off, and then spray the outside. So next time you come out, should be all sanded. Maybe there'll be some color inside, and we'll get you in the booth.
Let's go over here.
So what's going on?
Be a little quieter in here. Sometimes the boys are a little loud out there. Well, there's a lot going on. It's we're kind of in this weird limbo state. A lot of things are out of our hands right now. The cars at the body shop, it's at Vescio's, you know, they're hitting it hard. They're doing a good job. I was just there yesterday. John Kosmowski's helping us with the paint color, which is pretty cool, but that still hasn't been figured out. I know what I want in my head, but we just can't seem to mix it up. Engine shop's working on the engine still. The actual engine itself, Wheeler's got put together and it's done, the long block. Ran into a couple snags. For one, we didn't have an intake. We never did have an intake. And it's kind of something that's been put on the back burner. Either we were going to build it ourselves or we were going to have somebody we work with build it for us. We ran out of time. We couldn't build it ourselves. Not something you just throw together. The person I thought that would build it for us, they couldn't do it either. You know, our last race car, that was a 572 Hemi, and we had a Hogan intake on that. I called them, I talked to the owner, Tim, and I told him we're under a huge time crunch. So literally in 2 weeks, he built us an intake from scratch, which is pretty unheard of. It's actually right over here. You know, they built that in 2 weeks, and it's awesome. They did just a completely awesome job on it. I'm really happy. You know, they weren't really able to do anything for us, and it's not that they didn't want to, but all they deal with is race car people, and they get hit up all the time. And I didn't want it to be a last minute thing, but it just kind of turned into it because our plan A and our plan B fell through. On top of that, we're waiting on valve covers, which we literally ordered 3 months ago. Never took them out of the package, finally did, and then they were wrong. So we can't just throw any valve cover on there and then, you know, replace it later. We're trying to get an input shaft from Jeffco. We got parts that are going out to the powder coater. I sent the seat out to the upholstery shop, and we're literally, I think, 1 month away from Detroit right now.
Hey, Detroit! America's greatest hot rod show is back!
Which has been the goal. That's the goal to go to. You know, the car is registered. We're supposed to be there. Hotel rooms are booked. It's kind of up in the air right now if we can get everything done in time. We're not going to bring something that's half-assed. The good news is we got a lot of support behind us, but it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of car. So yeah, things are pretty crazy right now. We are definitely relying on a lot of people. We got 4 weeks, and we got no car.